do? You make a detour, you follow somewhere else, you try to dodge it, look for a way to escape it, right? Some seconds are certain, they will come. Obstacles are sure in life, losses will occur. The particular writer says the block of granite that was an obstacle in the pathway of the weak becomes a stepping stone in the pathway of the strong. Somebody sees a block and says, I can't pass here. And another person comes and says, with this block, I can actually climb and get to where I want to get to. All we need to do is to adjust. What is your attitude towards challenges? We mentioned Joshua and Caleb. They were spies, part of the spies that were sent. We read Numbers 13:14. They were sent to go and check the land that God had promised the Israelites. And when they went there and came back, what were the stories they were given? If you see them, they are giants. We look like grasshoppers before them. They will crush and eat us for whatever, and all the negative things that they were saying. But Joshua and Caleb came and said, yes, quite all right, these people are like this, but we can overcome the land. They were paying attention and concentration to the good things that were on that land, knowing that this is a land that God has promised us. Reports. They believed somehow, right, that God was going to give them that land. And that belief gave them glory, while those who were negative about it were destroyed. Right? We and change our tactics. Our perceived obstacles might, I remember something. I remember way back. I was on Wednesday, on Tuesday, or so when my mom came. The kind of things I used to do when I was younger. Now I'm grown, I'm wondering, so I was this small when I was doing these things. But now you send your child message, even to crossroad is a problem. You cannot cross. Right? But you get, they'll give you lists. 12 years old, whatever. You go to market, buy things, come back, bring change. Send your child to go and buy to crossroad is a problem. So I was thinking of how I would, walk in gardens, in our garden, I'll visit the farm and cut grass. And then one day I went with my friend. It was a holiday. I said, follow us to our garden. And we went together. I wanted to go and show him that I have skills. And then I got there, we shared it. I said, no, let's share it so that we'll know who walk past. So I got to me and work my own. And then I was cutting my grass. When I raised my own, the guy was in front. Like, what is the problem? Your cutlass shall pass my own. He said, no, you give me. And then we exchanged cutlass from my own. And then we exchanged. So he came this way and I went the other way. And I realized that it was the same thing. I had to call him. I said, come, how far? He said, I should do your hand. If you do one like this, what will happen? And then, for the first time, I realized that instead of me to just do this, I could actually do this, and that was a lesson. And before, I didn't catch up because you don't say inside, but I was able to realize that, okay, I could actually do more, right? So you don't just sit there and say, oh, the thing is not working, and then you leave it like that. You have to strategize. Some of us look at other family, other couple, and say, you look at somebody, one family, brother and sister A, and you say, man, if to say that this man I marry, my life will just be like this sister one. Or if to say that this woman I marry, I will be a happy man. But you're not in their home. You don't know what they are going through. You don't know how they are managing through. Right? You don't know what they are in. So I was working small. From here, we're having a meeting. So I worked with him and we were going. Then the next thing he said, I should come, I should hurry, that the wife is waiting. So meaning my wife is waiting, hurry up. Like something like, if this woman they wait, it's not good to delay her. So it's your car, it's not my wife, it's yours. So I was still following him small. So only for me to reach downstairs, I was following Brother Alco. I saw Brother Alco in front. So I started running to go and meet him. Not my wife, not my man, I don't know where, So we got to where the car was. I just realized that he left the park, and then when I was trying to help him reverse, it was as if I was wasting time. They went away. So I was looking at them, this is a man that, because some months ago, he put happy anniversary for us, me and my wife, 30 something or so years in marriage, and everybody's congratulating, hey, happy, you don't know what they have done to get there. And I was just thinking in my head, let me use my very close example, Emmanuel Anuge, that has not finished meeting with his chairman of Sarabo. You say EC is calling him, so he will not be running to want to go and carry, So you don't know what the other person is doing to make to give you what you are seeing, right? You just feel, oh, okay, their own now this person will be, right? We come in contact with certain persons and certain situations, we can no longer be who we used to be, right? Brother Chuks Owanfo posted a video of a man and a wife in court where they were saying they were 30-something years in marriage, Abi. And then the judge was asking, how do you do it? He said, anything my wife, I say, yes, baby. Moral, say, right? When we adjust to detours in life, right, you never can tell, instead of waiting in that place, adjustment, you just might see something that you did not know was there. There's one name I love in love growing up. The name is called Okitikupa. When I was growing up, I was like, this person feel really see this place. Okiti. What kind of place is it? I've been wondering how it was in my head. Okitikupa. I like pronouncing it. Until one day we were going to Edo State, traveling home, normal end of the year, and there was traffic everywhere. We now veered up the express. We didn't know where we were going, but we just followed people. And then we got somewhere, we stopped. It's still inside traffic. And then I said, where are we? Because we saw river, crayfish, very fine and everything. Like, where are we? I said, this now our place. This is they say Okitikupa. I said, okay, right? We came out. But what am I saying? When obstacles come, try and say, oh, this is what I will continue to do. You don't know what the other person has done to get to where they are. There's this song that is sweet when we were growing up, the Wall of Jericho. The walls of Jericho fell down flat. Very simple. As the children of God were praising the Lord, the word of hey, and it's finished, So the children of God just went there, they just sang, pray, and then the wall of Jericho just fell down. No, that's not what happened. A city, a humongous city with walls, right? Walls down to protect it. God told for 6 days, and on the 7th day they should walk around it once every day, and then on the 7th day walk around it 7 times. So imagine yourself now. Small Ekiti everywhere now in our states. Those are cities actually, but for political reasons we now have states everywhere. But let's just take Ikeja as a city, world round. Let them tell us, all of us, to come and walk around the city of Ikeja. You know what's going to happen, right? The wall of Jericho fell down flat. It didn't fall down flat like that. Something had to happen. On the 7th day, they were asked to walk around the wall 7 were looking for. So nothing really comes that easy. Our last output there talks about patience. Abiding in patience. We have all been patient in hospitals, right? We have all been sick and have gone to the hospital to see the doctor. That is one of the terrible wait areas you can have. When you are waiting because you don't know what is wrong with you, you don't know what the doctor is going to tell you, you have done x-ray and what have you, you are waiting, agitated, and then the queue is long. You cannot just jump the queue. There was a day I went for my test. I took my kids, 3 of us rather, we went, and then the queue was long. I said, what can I do? I was thinking like you have to go to work. What do I do? So no, there is an express pattern. I said, okay, very well. What do I do? Say, go and read that poster. So I went to look at it. I said, you read, if you are in a hurry and you want emergency attention, you pay 10,000 naira. So I went to meet the man. I said, I've read it. It's not always very easy, but patience is a virtue we must all exercise, right? In order for us to get God's attention. In order for us to get God's attention. When we read Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, we realize there, listed there is patience. Because the Bible realized that, or the Spirit realizes that it is what we need to enable us succeed. And very importantly, when we talk about patience, right? One of the areas that we need to be patient in life, one of those areas is in the area of this race that we are running, right? In a bid to make heaven. Let us bear importantly in our minds that in the midst of our patience in life, the patience for God and the coming of His Son is paramount. Right? James chapter 5, verse 7 to 8 says, therefore, brothers, be patient until the Lord's coming. See how the farmers wait for the precious fruits of the earth and is patient until it receives both the early and the late rains. At times you just get tired. Actually progressing or doing better than yourself, and you start to wonder, this heaven that they say we are going to enjoy, when is it going to happen? It can get you tired. But that scripture is telling us to tarry. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 11 says that the race is not for the swift, neither is the battle for the strong, but time and chance happeneth to them all. Godly patience. We have seen people in secular lives display serious level of impatience, right? Some people have lost their job. I know somebody who would have been one of the biggest medical doctors now in one of the federal institutions, just because it's enough at times for you to want to throw in the towel and say, okay, I think I'm done. There are some other things that I can do. But with a little patience, a little perseverance, those things that we wish for, that we hope for, can actually, since still do not get there. They use okadas, people carry them on their back, at times ambulances, right? It's likened to our journey in life. We know how many times those boxers, round 1 over, round 2 over, you don't want to know how many times they've thought, after this round, I'm not fighting again. But they just, back down round 3, they still come to the ring, and they're on. But one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind, and straining forward to what lies ahead. I press on toward the goal for the prize. For people who know what is happening in the areas that you are, venturing into, that has beaten your fingers, but you don't just stay and say, I'm not doing it again. Probably you are in the wrong course. Some people have ironed a tie every morning. Iron the tie don't fade. You are still ironing it. Going to do that thing that you ahead morning. It's not very common for some of us to get gifts or presents, right, in this congregation. But this one sister, I can say severally, Sister Boo, you guys know her. And she's one person that will not come and disturb you, say, do this for me or do that for me, right? And I look at her, she buys bales and sells in a particular market. This is a business. Some of us say, me and my fine nails, I graduated from photo, I should go and be doing whatever. But a time comes in life when you need to make a detour, right? Or what have you. Those people were mama puts selling food, and before you knew it, they realized that, oh, they could go big, right? Rather than working in a restaurant where you actually sell and serve food, right? Think of something that you can begin to do differently. Endure through it. Every beginning has its shaky and stumbling period, and we'll see what God will do. I'm concluding, sir. I say, I don't know what stage you are in your life right now. Are you close to quitting? Please don't quit. Endurance will eventually prevail. Right? Let us read James chapter 1, verse 12. Again, we read it before, but Job said something. Job, in affirming his belief in God, he said in chapter 42, verse 2, he says, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. That is Job now speaking to God, telling God, understanding God's purpose for his life, and saying, if you have this and this and this purpose for me, like you have promised me in your book, in your word rather, I know that you can make it come to pass. For no purpose of yours until you give up. You are not a flop until you let go. So do not quit. Do not let go. Hold on, just like that pilot did and saved his life. There is always light and purple logo. And the guy says, why would they go and put the light at the end of the tunnel? Why did they not just give me the light in the beginning so that I will, But it doesn't work that way. There's no light at the middle of the tunnel. That is why it is a tunnel. But what you can have is the hand of Christ. And if we follow him steadfastly, we will yield positive results. Our heart desires to become ours in the mighty name of Jesus. May God bless what we have heard in Jesus' mighty name.
Time listening with Jesus.